What is going on, guys? Thank you for coming back. If you have listened to the Mudcast before, thanks to those as well that are just trying it out for the first time. I hope you enjoy it. Definitely feel free to check out the past episodes. Like us 5 stars on iTunes, as well as give us a review if you do have some time. It really helps us out. So my name is Josh, and today the big subject I'm going to be going over is going to be, of course, Series 2. As many of you know, Series 2 came out, I believe, I would say just before this weekend started, this past weekend started. So Thursday, Friday, something like that. And the big news, of course, is there's a Telvin Smith, as well as a few other Gauntlet players that you can get. The Telvin Smith is a 91 overall. All the Gauntlet players are 89s, and they are Cameron Hayward, Jason Kelsey, Lamar Miller, and Brian Arakpo, as well as Roger Saffold. I promise I know all these players. It's just tough. I'm also trying to do these MUT Blitz challenges as well, which I'm sure most of you have heard of. They have new Blitz challenges this week. Instead of solo battles, they did some solo Blitz that's essentially semi the same thing, except you can play 4 games in a day. And it changes up every single day, and you get your rewards instead of at the end of the week. You get them the next day. So definitely been pretty popular, at least with me. I would think in the community as well. For those of you that play solo battles, and it's definitely a good way to get your rewards a little quicker and just be able to get a few more games in if you're a solo grinder. The big news also for me, if you listen to the podcast, I believe it was just last week, where I wish I could actually snip this and put this in today's show. I don't have the capability to do that, but I'm sure someone does. I talked about how I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They're not going to do new power-ups. Don't get excited about it this year. And of course, that's what they do. So they have, in addition to the Veterans and Series 2 Master, they also released 4 new power-ups in the game as well. So Haha Clinton Dix, Donta Hightower, Patrick Mahomes, and Derek Carr. And I know, I'm just taking a look at the Clinton Dix. I know everyone else has at this point got at least a primetime. Yeah, so he got Clinton Dix got a high primetime performer. Patrick Mahomes obviously got a couple Team of the Weeks. So it seems like if this is something they're going to go with, where every series they're coming out with 4 or so new players, this may be something to take a look at. Take a look out for. So whoever's got some primetime performers or some of those limited cards, obviously they're trying to push people to those limited cards. For example, Zach Ertz will be doing the solo battles between him and Gronk today. But, for example, Zach Ertz and Gronkowski, Zach Ertz, he's got a primetime performer out. So, the next time Series 3 comes out, keep your eye out for cards that have limited time cards. It really looks like there's going to be an emphasis on those cards coming out for power-ups. So if you do have, you take a look and you have a Zach Ertz base elite, I would hang on to that because chances are, you may see him as a power-up in the future. Obviously, you can't get his power-up card now because it's. And I'm saying all this, and he already has a power-up card. But the point being, those players that get the primetime performance and don't have power-up cards, those are the ones you want to stock up on. So Zach Ertz being an example. Now, obviously, he does have a power-up, but Yeah, so look out for those guys. The big thing I want to talk about this week is Series 2. Of course, it just came out. There's a lot of new objectives. People are excited about it, but people are also, I think, a little disappointed just because of the nature of when something like this drops. I think a lot of people are expecting so much, so many new players, new sets, new solos, myself included. But I think in terms of when you take a look at Series 2 and these aren't huge things. I mean, really, the big thing about Series 2 is, there's a master, the Telvin Smith, definitely looks really good. He's not a pass rusher. That's what I'd say is, in terms of those nickel sets that people get in. If you have him on the outside pass rushing, he's got 60 power move and 74 finesse move. So as people start to get better and better tackles, he's not going to get through. He does have 91 block shed, so he's going to be good on the run, and 85 speed. But I wouldn't count on him in terms of being able to pass rush. So if you do get him, be prepared to put him in coverage. But in terms of these veterans, on the opposite side of things, Brian Arakpo, who is another right outside linebacker, I've seen some comments in terms of he's too slow and his block shed's not high enough, which is very fair. I mean, he's got 78 speed, 77 block shed, but at the same time, he's really a pass rushing type of specialist. I mean, this is really what we we're should be looking for in terms of coming into this year. We have those new positions, the situational pass rushing positions for these guys. He's got to be a great pass rusher. He's got 89 power move, 88 strength. I don't know exactly how that honestly figures into things. So since he doesn't have 77 block shed, does that mean that he just won't get moved, but he won't get off the block? Which is not terrible in the run game. I mean, it's not like he's going to make a ton of tackles, but it's not like he's going to get pushed out of the hole. Got 87 play rec and 88 tackle. So I think he's also 6'4". I think this is one of the better cards just because of the fact that his power move is really high. The Roger Saffold is really nice too. He's got 89 pass block and 93 run block. Then of course his pass block, power, pass block finesse. He's got 82 awareness. The big thing is got 81 strength. So again, when you take a look at it, I don't know, let's say he's going against someone that's got really high strength. Is that going to be a huge deal? Like, how much of a deal is that going to be, really, in the big realm of things? I know people in the past have said that strength doesn't matter. I maybe it's just because I can't come to grips with that there's an actual statistic in the game that doesn't matter, at least for the overall game. I know obviously there's some things that in salary cap mode are not factored in the same way they are in other modes. But I can't come to grips with that. The Cameron Hayward looks really good. So on the other side of things, he's got 87 strength. So that's, going to allow him hopefully to keep people, push people back. But in addition to that, he's got 88 block shed. 90 tackle, 90 play rec. He's also got 92 power move. His finesse move is 73. I don't think Cameron Hayward has spun or, done any swim moves in his life. You're mostly talking about power moves with him. The Jason Kelsey card, there's not a ton of. The good thing about so you have both a Roger Saffold and a Jason Kelsey card. So when you take a look at things, there's normally not a lot of linemen out there as options. So having having two E09 linemen that you get to choose from is huge. So again, the big thing with Kelsey, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why they're not giving lineman strength, but he's got 82 strength, but he does have 92 awareness, 84 pass block. I felt like he was a better pass blocker than that, but maybe not. And 92 run block. So definitely really good in the for the run. Definitely some really good options for if you are looking for a lineman. The Lamar Miller, the big thing that stands out to me is his break tackle is 85. He's got 89 speed, 88 elusiveness. He's a pretty good mix in terms of being a power back and being a quick back. And I think that might really make the difference for a lot of people. The problem being for me is he's an 89 halfback, and how many halfbacks do we have out now? I mean, the thing is, in terms of Saquon Barkley, I think part of his problem is that he toes the line between being a power back and being a speed back, and he just doesn't do it well. But this Lamar Miller, I mean, he's got only 73 trucking. So in terms of he's not going to truck people. Like you're going to need to spin away from people and juke. So you know that you have to do that. He's got 90 juke. He's got 89 spin, so he's got a good mix. But yeah, I mean, the 85 break tackle I think is huge. I mean, I think in terms of if you get in one of those tackle battles, it's really going to help you out. He's got 66 strength, which is he's really not a power back, but he does have sort of that mix of being able to break tackles and being able to outrun people. And I don't think Saquon really has that in terms of he's just too much of both and just not enough of one. So I really don't I don't mind if he has more of the speed characteristics or the power characteristics, but he's got to have one, and I just don't think he does that too well. So this is a good option. The problem is that there's so many out there. I mean, there's Ezekiel Elliott, there's the Saquon, there's you can power up Barry Sanders. There's so many options out there that I think a halfback sort of gets lost in the mix when these cards come out. Not that for those of you that choose him, not that's a bad choice. It's just that there's so many different halfbacks out there. So I won't be picking him up, but doesn't mean that it'll be a bad choice. I want to talk about some of these sets. So obviously, they do have All-Star Showdowns. So the AFC and the NFC. So there's one for the AFC at 54 and one for the NFC at 58. I don't quite get exactly what they are. I haven't achieved those levels, so I suppose I'll know. The veterans are, we know what the veterans are. Veterans are the exact same veteran sets. It's just that instead of on rookie, they are on pro, I believe. And then they'll be on all pro, and then all Madden. So by the end of the year. So, we'll see. We'll see how hard these are. There are a few of them, especially the rushing countdown. You get back on the 22. You get back on the 1, and you have one play to complete a 99-yard touchdown run. That's excessive. So we'll see how it goes. I know there's a few videos out there. I typically use Stretch. It's definitely not as good as it was last year, but it's definitely worth trying in terms of it's unless you get lucky, you're not doing it on the first try. the big thing for me are the sets. So the Telvin Smith I mentioned before it's 110 Series 2 trophies. That's if you want to get him and be able to possibly auction or trade him. If you're planning on doing the power up, you might as well go with the 55 Series 2 trophy option. Sounds like a lot of trophies, it honestly does. But when you think about it, some of these things, I think I just got like 8 from just doing solo battles. So especially if you do solo battles and weekend league or whatever it might be that gets you these tokens, it's really not a ton. And if that's what you're going after, it's not too hard to achieve. So I think if you're taking a look at, I think the game came out on August 2nd, so essentially enough for everyone. But the game changers, the people that got EA access, it came out on August 2nd. So you had essentially close to 2 months for Series 1. Series 2, I would guess, and maybe about the same. So you're talking about 8 weekends or so, just to be able to get enough trophies. You can obviously get them from seasons as well as from weekend league. So I don't really think that 110. I mean, for those people that want Telvin Smith, he's definitely a very popular player. I definitely like this. I definitely like this set. I'm not going to get him, just because I think I'm gonna go with the Gauntlet, Brian Arakpo. I know he doesn't have that much block shed, but still he's able to rush the passer. There's definitely a few really intriguing sets for the elite players. So I want to go over both of them really quickly. There's an 84 to 87 elite player. It requires 14 Series 2 trophies. And then an 88 to 90 overall elite player that requires 50 trophies. So these are both Series 2 trophies. So if you're not familiar with the way it works, is Series 1 trophies you have to use them on Series 1. So if you have stockpiled trophies, unfortunately, they do not work on Series 2. So you have to go out and get new trophies. Like I mentioned before, it's not too hard, but they only work for Series 1. Series 2 trophies can be used for Series 1 sets. So, you have a player that you really want to get, you can take a shot and you can try and get that player in Series 1 if you don't have that many Series 2 trophies. But my suggestion would be 14 Series 2 trophies is not a lot. If you don't have that many, you're really trying to get to that 88 to 90. I'm definitely trying to do that because there's a few guys that I want to power up like Gronk. And I cannot, like his card is going for 200 or something coins. It's pretty ridiculous. So if you do want to get some of these guys, I suggest holding on to the trophies, trying to get all 50. And if you are having trouble doing that, I would encourage doing there's still a few days left for the Soul Blitzes. I think on the weekend they're going to have extra games too. So if you make it to the weekend, still plenty of chances. I think I played just 2 games last week. Last night out of the 4. I'm trying to play all 4 tonight. And I got like 3 trophies. So again, not the full amount, about half of the amount. And you don't typically get that, as you play the full amount. EA really wants you to play the full amount. So as you play the full amount more and more, you'll get a lot more trophies. So definitely 3 trophies for just 2 games is a lot for EA. There's a Coachman collectible. So this is going to require 100 Series 2 trophies. and it rewards you with a collectible that unlocks one Coach Madden scheme chemistry slot. So, of course, this, you have to go and actually get Coach Madden. I don't know exactly how many coins he costs. So, I'm sure someone has that out there. And I'm also sure that it's probably a buttload of coins. So, Coach Madden is in Series 1. Again, you can use Series 2 trophies to unlock Series 1 players. So even though it's Series 2 and Coach Madden is in Series 1, go ahead and, use those Series 2 tokens to unlock Coach Madden if you want to go that way. Again, if you don't get the Coach Madden collectible, if you're using all those tokens for Coach Madden, and you don't get him before Series 2 ends, you can always add Series 3 trophies in the Series 2 sets. So in terms of the sets, the rest of them are, like the Browns 2010 classic away uniforms. Not going to go over them too much. All of them require 19 Series 2 trophies. I don't know. I guess if you're really into alternative uniforms, there's, of course, the new Veteran Gauntlet sets. There's 16 Series 2 multiplayer objectives. If you get 200 wins, you're also going to get 100,000 coins. So, I really like. I think the big thing for me is, we knew we were going to get veterans players. We knew that we were going to get a new Series 2 Master. We knew... Oh, by the way, so Ricky Williams can also go up to level 20. He can now reach a 94. So again, in terms of, what you're able to... I mean, it's just another reason for me to not get Lamar Miller. I mean, the fact that Ricky Williams, and he's consistently going to be going up, just for me is just, I don't know, a reason not to hold off on him. So maybe if you're a Texans fan, I know there's some people out there, I'm sure Chewbacca will get him. But, for me, that Lamar Miller is going to be a no-go, just because the fact that Ricky Williams, he went up to a 94. But I think the big thing in terms of this release is really, it really sort of sets the standard of what people are going to expect in MUT. So a couple things here is, when you take a look at the EA released 4 new power-ups into the game, all of them have 90 plus cards. I think the Mahomes, he's a 90. I think his new team of the week is a 90. Yeah, it is a 90. And they had the 80 Rising Star. So this is interesting. I don't know if you have to get a Rising Star card to be able to put into the... I don't know if you have to get the 80, but will you have to get, will you have to power it up all the way to the 87 to be able to put into the set? So it's kind of interesting. So they added 4. Everyone is 90 plus. The other 3 have primetime performers. So those are limited time cards. For those of you that don't know, all the limited time cards sell for 500,000 coins. So in terms of, what we should be sort of expecting, these cards are, allow people to... I don't know. I'm kind of split on these cards. So the good thing is the fact that, for me, when I saw that Donta Hightower come out, I was like, well, I'm never going to get that card because the fact that it's, primetime performer, and there's just no way that I'm going to be able to purchase him because he's never going to go less than 500,000 coins until later in the year. But there'll be like a new better card that came out. the great thing about the primetime the great thing about the power ups is the fact that we do have access to cards that are pretty close to that primetime performer. The bad thing about it is that it's really, so people are gonna have to do one of two things. So I took a look at Dante Hightower's set. His power up is going to cost, to bypass that primetime performer is going to cost 4,350 coins, I believe. Lots and lots of coins. So, and this is the same with every single one of them, because the fact that they all have primetime performers, and the fact that I'm guessing probably a lot of people that have the primetime performer card are not the same people that really want to power them up. Just how it works. The good thing about Dante Hightower is, you can get him up to an 83 with just about nothing. It costs his regular base card, and then you can upgrade him to an 83 overall with just 78 training. You can get up to 85, 87, 89 after that. But really, it's kind of like the Legends, where, the 85 is not too much at 175. But the 87 is 400, the 89 is 825. And then you really get to that. So the 89 is 825. The next tier is that 92. So it's right above the primetime performer. And it costs 4,350. Now, like I said, I mean, in terms of when you take a look at training, it costs money whichever way you're going to do it. So this is where I'm split, because I can get them up to 89, and I can sort of have that version of Dante Hightower that's pretty close to the prime time. And, something I wouldn't have had before until another card came out after that for Hightower. But at the same time, I really think, I think sets a precedent that as we move forward, these primetime performers are going to be the ones that get for the most part, they're going to be the ones that get the new power-ups. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's nice if you pull one, because you could just, do the power for almost no money compared to what it costs. But on the reverse side, EA really put a premium on pulling those cards. So it's really going to force people to open up packs if they want some of these guys later on down the road. And honestly, you may not even know exactly who you want to pull, because just the nature of the fact that you may get one of these primetime performers, and EA just may decide to use someone else for the power up. So I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm split. I know obviously guys like Derek Carr, and I assume that Patrick Mahomes, Hightower, and Clinton Dix will probably get cards. Although I don't know. I mean, it's not like, I know Mahomes is just tearing it up right now, but he's a second-year player. Hightower's look pretty slow. Clinton Dix is a great safety, but it's not like he's the best safety in the league. It's not like you're talking about like Earl Thomas or something. So Derek Carr, I know is he's had a tough go at it. We're never going to touch on that. So I don't know. I mean, I think the one thing is to look for is in terms of, when the sets come out for Series 3, they really set the precedent in terms of 84 to 87 is just 14 Series 2 trophies. Not a huge deal. I mean, in terms of, it'd be nice to maybe have a set that, made sure that you got like a power-up item. In terms of, let's say that they had a set that's, it's from 82 to 90, So it's a wider range, or 82 to even 87, but it has to be a guy that could be powered up. So it's, it could be a high tower, it could be a, whatever card that is that's got a low overall, but at the same time, it's going to be a card that for a fact you'll be able to possibly power up. The 88 to 90, that's gonna be tough for EA to replicate. I think the 50 trophies, I think there's gonna be a lot of people pulling that set. I know I obviously am going to. When you take a look at it, the way, so unless you're getting the NAT Telvin Smith, which honestly is like, it's 55 Series 2 trophies. Like, if you like Telvin Smith and you want to have a right outside linebacker that's a coverage outside linebacker or a user, this is really the move. I mean, he's got in the 4-3. Mudhead has him as a 99 overall for a 4-3 defense. I don't know exactly where that comes from, but his coverage has got 81 zone coverage. I'm honestly a little surprised at that in terms of, I figured his zone coverage would be a little higher, but he's got the 85 speed, he's got 93 play rec, 86 acceleration, he's only got 74 jump, but like I said, he's got 91 block shed, 92 pursuit, 90 tackle, and even 87 hit power. So I think that a lot of people are really going to be going for that option. He's really just, you're talking about a 91 card compared to if you were doing the 88 to 90 set, is going to cost you 5 less trophies. So I think a lot of people might go for the NAT Telvin Smith. And like I mentioned, so he's got a power up. So there is a campaign Telvin Smith. He's already got a few cards here. He's got the power up. He's got this core elite, his campaign, and now this this card here. So you're talking about Telvin Smith. That essentially, if you get him NAT, I'm assuming that you're going to want to power him up. You're talking about a 92 card, just for 55 tokens. It's a lot better value than an 88 to 90 for 50, but at the same time, you're really locking yourself in terms of what you're doing for Series 2. So that's all I have there. I do want to get to the Mut Wars card battle here. But overall, I think Series 2 is a success. We'll see what happens. I think that people are going to be hopefully pleasantly surprised in a couple of weeks when we start to get Most Feared. I think it's weird. It's only a month into the season, and we're about to get Most Feared as one of the best and biggest promos that the EA puts out, and it's only a month into the season. So we'll see. But right now, I think it's a success. It's sort of a bridge in terms of, I think EA, the way that they schedule these seasons is sort of a bridge in terms of new content. So I'll get to the Mut Wars today, or the Card Wars, sorry, today. Today I have Zach Ertz, the primetime performer that I was talking about, is a 92 overall tight end versus Rob Gronkowski, the ultimate kickoff, 92 overall tight end. So just quickly off the bat, so Zach Ertz he's got 62 salary cap, and Gronk has 52, if you believe in that. The way, so I am using the Muthead compare tool, for those of you that they are wondering. The way that Muthead has it looking is that Ertz is slightly better at receiving and red zone, and very, very slightly better as a vertical threat. But in terms of pass protection, Gronk has him there, and run blocking, Gronk really has him. So that's the biggest difference between the two, is the run blocking. Height, so Gronk has 1 inch on Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is still 6'5", so I'm sure he'll get some of those animations. Gronk is 265 compared to 250. So just get that out of the way. Physical traits, Gronk is a little bigger, both size-wise and or height-wise and weight-wise. So Zach Ertz actually has 2 more speed. Gronk is so it's 80 to 82. Gronk has him a little on strength, 86 to 79. If you believe in that, and I believe there's a lot of people that don't. Awareness, Zach Ertz is 95, to Gronk's 91. They both have 79 jumping. So in terms of, it's not like they're huge jumpers. I mean, they're both struggling a little bit in that department. I was a little surprised with that. Gronk is not elusive at all. He's got 49 elusiveness, but honestly he's tracking 77, which is pretty good. I was surprised. His break tackle is 72, but Zach Ertz's break tackle is 66. The other big thing that I was noticing, so Zach Ertz has 80 carrying. Gronk only has 71. So this is interesting to me because the fact that, I know Gronk fumbled, I think, week 1, but that was his first fumble at home in his career. So I was a little surprised by that his carrying is actually 71. Ertz is carrying at 80. It's actually really good for a tight end. I would have imagined that Gronk's would have been in the 80s. So in terms of short, medium, and deep route running, Ertz definitely has him there. So it's 93, 92, 85 compared to Gronk's 87, 85, and 77. I'll say I don't know what long routes they're running besides streaks. Catching traffic, they're pretty even. So Zach Ertz is a slight edge at 93, 92, or 93 compared to Gronk's 92. Spec catch, same thing, so 91 compared to 89. But Gronk has him in release. I think the one thing is that, I don't know that matters because, it seems like safeties and linebackers, even though they do have press ratings, just never press. And I don't know why. I don't know what it would take to fix that, but they don't press even when I'd want them to press. The big thing, so I mentioned this before, so the big difference between the two is Zach Ertz's run blocking is 69 compared to Gronk's 82. So run block power is 65, finesse is 68, and Gronk's is 80 and 78. The pass block's about even. It's about 70 to 73. In the impact block and lead block, Zach Ertz has a slight edge. But, to me, I think taking a look at these cards, when it comes down to it, I think that the way that it works today, so I've used in 84, he's boosted up to 85, but the 84 power up Gronk, I haven't used Zach Ertz yet, but the 84, powered up to 85 Gronk he gets open, but it's pretty decently tight windows, and in terms of what you're looking at is Gronk does not really have that many runs after catch. He doesn't have the type of explosive plays that you'd see in real life. He really struggles with that I've seen in the game. I don't know how this 92 does, but to me it sounds like Zach Ertz. It really depends on your scheme. I think purely in terms of the way that Mutt works, I would give the edge to Zach Ertz. Because that route running is ridiculous. I think that's the thing that jumps off the card to everyone is that honestly, so 85 deep route run is basically the same as Antonio Brown. You throw him on a post and he's shaking people. His catch and traffic he's not giving up anything on catch and traffic. 93, 91 on the spec catch. His short route running is medium route running. He doesn't even lose anything on medium route running. So 93 and then 92 on medium route running. I think the thing is, unless you're a power, pound the rock type of person, because honestly, 82 run block for Gronk is ridiculous. I think there's a lot of linemen that have that run block or less. 82 run block, and then of course, so Gronk's strength is 86. Again, I know if you believe in that, but it's got to factor in somewhere. Eventually, once we make it big, and Clint Olenberg on here, he'll sit us right in terms of what strength actually does. But I gotta give the edge slightly to Zach Ertz. I think just because of the way that Mutt plays, and I've noticed this with some players. So some people talk about the fact that Antonio Brown, he has no speed and he's not worth it, just because that speed, just like, there's nothing you can do with him. I think just the way that Mutt plays, it just caters to Zach Ertz in terms of, what you're able to do, and I think he gets open just a lot more, and he'd be more explosive. So not a huge edge, but I think I'd say Zach Ertz, just because of the fact that most tight ends are running routes anyway. I think last week I was thinking about doing Saquon, the 88 Saquon versus the 90 Ezekiel Elliott, the kickoff Ezekiel Elliott. I'm going to post something else on Twitter. Please respond to me. Tell me who you want to see in Card Wars, and we will do that. So that's really all I have. I don't have, because of the quick turnaround this time, and I did cover some questions that did come in about season 2. You talked briefly about the solo blitz. If you are not aware, I would definitely check that out. I know Kralos put up a few texts, but probably if you're signed in and you're seeing the solo blitz anyway. So I didn't touch on that too much. So I'm going to try and come back later this week with another podcast. In the meantime, definitely send in your questions, and I will take those. So thanks again, guys, for listening. Sorry this was a little bit long. Trying to make them about half an hour, but because of the lost time in September, and I'm trying to give you guys a little bit more bonus episode. So thanks again for listening. Give us a 5-star review, and then 5-star rating, and then leave a review if you do have time. All right, thanks guys. Talk to you soon.